I'm here with Tim from Delta Tetra Consultancy. He's here to highlight his campaign, what they're hoping to achieve, who they are, what they do and how they do it. Thanks for being with us.
No problem, Jeff. Thank you for having me. My name's Tim. I'm the CEO of Delta Tetra Consultancy. So Delta Tetra started about 12 months ago. We're based out of Melbourne, and what we do is essentially offer consulting services to the emerging medical cannabis industry. So we work with individuals and body corporates that are looking at moving into the space. We advise them on regulation, on applications, building their facilities, cultivation standard operating procedure, and extraction methodology. So essentially we run seed-to-sale management for facilities in the medical cannabis space. It's something that we're very excited to do, and we're really humbled to be a part of this emerging industry.
That's wonderful. And what are your objectives and plans that you have for the future? Where are you hoping to take this?
So my hope is that we can help create an infrastructure that allows for a developing industry to emerge over the next 5 to 10 years. What we're hoping to be able to do is to contribute to something that's going to last for a long time. It's not really my interest to try and extract as much as I can out of the industry or get as much business as we can. For me, it's very important to create something that's going to A, principally work for the patients, B, work for the healthcare professionals that have the opportunity to dispense this medicine, and also for the industry that are trying to do the right thing by those people. So if we can help lay down that infrastructure, then I'll be very proud of that.
It sounds like you've got a very organised plan, and the way you're going to execute it is going to be handled very professionally.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. We've worked really hard over the last 12 months to put together a group of support partners that allow us to bring a lot of services that aren't currently available in Australia. My team are internationally based, so we bring a lot of experience from developing markets, and I think hopefully that's something that we can contribute to the general success of Australia.
Excellent. Well, I'm feeling positive about your agenda, and I wish you the very best for the future.
Thank you very much.
Excellent, Tim. Beautiful. I'm here with Leah from Leafcann. She's given some very riveting speeches and been on the cutting edge of cannabis research. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, if you could just explain a little bit about the research you've done, and you've spent 30 years in residential aged care, and what you've seen, how the medicine benefits people that are in their elder years and their late stages of life.
What we've actually identified, I have been in residential aged care for 30 years, and throughout that time I have seen a lot of suffering and chronic pain. So actually observing that type of chronic, debilitating, excruciating, relentless pain that people live on a day-to-day basis, which is not actually alleviated by traditional
That'd be very distressing to watch.
It's very distressing, and it gives you a sense of helplessness, because in the caregiving industry, the whole aim of it is to alleviate suffering. So we decided that we would start looking at residential aged care being the area of our expertise, and looking at opioid regimes, because of the fact that in 73% of cases, people that are prescribed gross amounts of opioids are also prescribed, because of the side effects of opioids, a heap of adjuvant medications, which then causes a cascading type of effect, and polypharmacy. That polypharmacy means that people can be on up to 12 or 15 medications at one time, but it's still not meeting their pain needs. So,
which would wreck your kidneys and liver.
Yeah, so what it does is it creates further debility, further deterioration, and doesn't manage their pain effectively. So we need to look at another alternative. In this day and age, there are no excuses for people to live ongoing in chronic pain.
And it increases their quality of life tenfold.
Absolutely, it's all about quality of life. And in the medical profession, we have a code, which is do no harm, which is the Hippocratic Oath. We also go into the medical profession because we want to alleviate suffering. So if we actually ignore the suffering of others and don't use another alternative, we're actually condoning what I consider neglect.
It's not a duty of care, is it, when you're not showing compassion, which is why you would have got into that profession in the first place, to help.
Compassion, passion with heart, you know? It's about that compassion and that empathy, about seeing life through the eyes of the people you're caring for, understanding the conditions and the core root of the suffering, and actually making sure that you look at that area and base it on that type of assessment and create a solution. So we've identified what the problem is. We are now going to do clinical trials to establish the data that we need to provide the evidence that we have the
very positive, isn't it?
It's extremely positive. It's going to be groundbreaking. I mean, medicinal cannabis has been used for years. And the body has the endocannabinoid system, as we all know. So we're actually hot-wired
That's right.
to use cannabinoids in our medications. So we have evolved over history with cannabis. And it's a plant, just like a lot of other medications. Look at our opioids, which is what we're talking about. That's a poppy, so it's a flower. Now, when you look at things like toxicity and side effects, the greatest risk factor of opioids is fatality. Nobody that we know of has died from toxicity of medicinal cannabis. Now, somebody, I'm sure, one day might be allergic to it and have an allergic reaction. We have to be very mindful of risk management in every medication.
You'd think we would have heard about that now, though, wouldn't we?
But we would have. But I'm sure that there are people out there, and so when we do clinical trials, it's about doing it in a way that we minimise risk. Because if you minimise risk, then it validates your results. So what we're doing is we're looking at measured dosing and titrations that meet the need of specific conditions. We're doing it the right way, so that the medical profession can't actually negate that information.
And there's not going to be any repercussions, which seems like that's the main focus.
You have to follow due diligence. You have to follow proper procedure in the medical profession. I'm a big believer of it. My entire career has been based on challenging systems and questioning old, archaic, stereotypical viewpoints, but in a way that I provide the solutions by my research. Because if I didn't have my research to back me, why would anyone want to listen to my theories? Because then they're just theories. But if you can actually prove it,
It strengthens your campaign.
it makes it a lot more powerful. And in the medical profession, you need to be gearing it towards the prescribers, because they need to understand this area and not base us on the street version of cannabis, because it's completely different.
And
we're
I'm
looking
sure,
at a medicine, and we're looking at something to alleviate suffering. So it's actually is going to be so innovative and fresh and wonderful that hopefully, I mean, we're seeing quite a rapid escalation over the last couple of years, especially in Australia. Everyone's saying it's slow, but it actually has been happening quite fast. So the medical profession just need to be educated. And that's the other part of what we're doing. We're doing the clinical research, like I'm director of clinical research for Leafcann.
Very impressive.
That is a wonder. I'm very privileged to be working with these people, because they totally come from that same ethos and vision that I do, and this is why we're working together. But we're also emphasising the need for education and knowledge, because nobody can be expected to know all this stuff unless they are actually put in the position of need. It's like with any condition. So we do need to educate people, the community. We need to educate the medical professionals and all health professionals, not just your specialists and your prescribers and your GPs, everybody that can understand the potential that we have in front of us. This potentially, for modern medicine, can be phenomenally transforming in regards to the future of alleviating so many conditions.
Very well said. And I'm sure, no doubt, there are doctors out there that want to do what's morally and ethically right, but they're worried about the legalities and being deregistered.
That's right. And so this is why we need to do it the right way. Because if we follow proper procedure, then we're basically doing what we should, but we still get the outcome that we desire. We can't ever place people at risk. So we can't just be sloppy about this. We do actually have to do it the right way.
In saying that people are at risk by not being able to have access to the medicine as well.
That's right. And the political view, but look, I'm not a politician. I understand a certain amount of the political side of it and the bureaucratic side of it. I think that there are certain fundamental areas that do need to be emphasised and looked at, because they are barriers, and those barriers can't be utilised effectively for people in need now. There are people that have urgent requirements, and so there does need to be a guideline to cover that as well, because you cannot say, well, wait for another couple of years, guys, because
Time's running out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For people in urgent need.
Well, I'm very impressed at the work that you have done.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck for the future and keep up the great work.
I really appreciate it.
Excellent,
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
I'm here with Andrew Kavasilas. He's got a very well-selling book about the medical uses of cannabis, and it's a privilege to have him on the show.
Okay, here you go.
Excellent. So if you could explain a bit about your book, what's involved, how it's been selling, and the history about how it came about.
Well, I suppose the book came about in the year 2001. The New South Wales government issued a permit for us to grow 20 high THC plants. We did that. It's a kind of a long story, but and a little bit complicated. It turns out, obviously, that the New South Wales government didn't have the authority to issue that permit. Irrespective of that, it was allowed to continue on. We grew those plants and we had them tested.
Very cutting edge.
Oh yeah, I mean, they didn't know that the cannabinoids were on the outside of the plant. There was no real need to do a whole extraction. But we also we developed other methods in the lab, including using water to do the separation. And then we also explored other post-harvest incidents where cannabinoid profiles would change in post-harvest activity.
It seems like these tests were ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, it seemed like it was. We thought at that time, though, we had the Premier was Bob Carr up in New South Wales, and he had, I suppose, put in as much effort as other premiers more recently have to kick off a meaningful medical cannabis regime.
It's put patients before profits, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but it's all around the world. Then you have to go back to, well, why isn't cannabis legal? Why isn't it? Why isn't there prescription? Why isn't there prescribable drugs available around the world? I don't think the debate in Australia has matured to that level yet, and definitely the misappropriation of terms by government when they refer to medical cannabis, but when what they really mean is pharmaceuticalised cannabinoid medicines. We're getting people like Lucy and this kind of a symposium here asking for medical cannabis. But do they understand that medical cannabis that's happening in the US and Canada and in Israel and in the Netherlands is actually the exemption to smoke high THC cannabis? That's what medical cannabis is, and that's what people are asking for, but they're being given this by the government. So I think there's misunderstandings on both sides of the debate, but more so on the activist side, this kind of symposium. I think it's quite obvious that a symposium like this should have had an outcomes paper, should have had something
very much
that would have been the narrative for this kind of symposium. On Monday there would have been a whole heap of experts signing off on this outcomes paper, and that would give us the stepping stone to the next one.
Excellent.
This kind of thing now, everyone's just going to go home Sunday afternoon and it's all over until the Haslams decide to call another one.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Well, look, I hope you feel very proud of yourself, all that you have done, and educating people on where we're heading, and I wish you the best of luck for the
Thanks
future.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Awesome. I'm here with Lucy Haslam, the main organiser of the United in Compassion Cannabis Symposium, a very successful event. Now, do you think that this will have a big impact on healthcare professionals and attendees?
Oh, look, I think probably not a big impact. I think it's the beginning.
And you suffered a tragic loss, and with your son, and that led to Dan's death. Can you tell us how that was introduced and what that involves?
Oh, well, basically, when Dan was ill, he used cannabis for chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting, and we believed that it was so successful for him that it was worth fighting for. So we just, raised that with our community and was able to spread that message, Australia-wide, and we have had to change legislation around that. I think there are some problems with that legislation, so now we just need to keep working on improving patient access.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're really doing God's work, and it really does bring miracles to people's lives.
Definitely.
I hope you feel really good about that, and we need more events like this to keep informing the public that this medicine is safe and secure, and there shouldn't be a stigma attached to it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.